You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. It's been 10 years since the community of Pitcher, Oklahoma was dissolved. We'll hear from a few who still live there, and they'll tell us why they chose to stay.
Plus, a couple of students at McKinley Elementary received a surprise yesterday. We'll show you how it all went down.
And we have a beautiful start to the day, albeit a chilly one out there. Our temperature's a little closer to average today. We'll talk about that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
And I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. now on this Thursday morning. It is just about Friday.
Ooh, the corner. So close.
And of course, a big deal this weekend. We have Veterans Day on Saturday.
Yes.
So great time to honor those who have served or are serving. And we'll be in the Veterans Day parade Saturday morning in downtown Joplin at 10 a.m.
Yes,
so
that should be fun.
Make sure you join us there. And speaking of things past, so I remember years ago covering the community of Pitcher and what led up to it being dissolved as a municipality. And now it's been a while since that happened.
Exactly. It's been 10 years ago that the municipality of Pitcher, Oklahoma was officially dissolved due to contamination from mine waste. Most town structures that weren't demolished, collapsed, or destroyed by a fire or tornado are abandoned. Still, according to the people we spoke to, 5 families still live in the area. While for many, Pitcher is now a ghost town, for locals, it's their former hometown. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to some of them.
We kind of made up for everything that went away. We just done other things to fill that void. I just knew that that's where my heart was, and that's where I just wanted to graduate from high school.
Alyssa Logan is one of the 11 students in the last Pitcher High School graduating class. The feeling of belonging is just one of the things Alyssa and her dad miss the most about the small Oklahoma town.
Most people didn't know all the streets, but could ask them, what person are you looking for, and we can tell you where they're at just by the name of the person.
We had a lot of fun there.
Local families found in the chat piles a source of entertainment. Kids would go there to ride their bicycles, and friends would gather for picnics.
We were on them anytime we could be on them, whether we were riding our bikes or just climbing up them or just like going up and hanging out.
4th of July, you could see everybody's fireworks from Joplin, Carl Junction, over to Miami, Commerce, everybody between.
But then, things changed. Because of the years of mining in Pitcher, high levels of lead were found in the huge jet piles around the town and the groundwater.
It was found that many of our children were lead poisoned. Every single dirt road was not dirt, it was jet. And so there was a great deal of exposure going on every time the wind blew, for every single person breathing.
Besides that, some buildings shown to be at risk of caving in because of the undermining. In 2006, the state of Oklahoma passed legislation that allowed for the voluntary buyout of citizens with children in the area. 2 years later, a tornado hit Pitcher.
And this is at the beginning of the tornado.
Many felt as if it was rather a sign of God, saying maybe we really need to go.
In 2009, the Environmental Protection Agency evacuated the town. Now Rebecca Jim fears the story will repeat in other places.
No mining company that I know of knows how to put the land back.
While the land can't be put back, Greg still drives through Pitcher once a week to relive his memories.
We miss Pitcher pretty much every day. You can reminisce about it, but it's never going to go back. We're never going to get Pitcher back.
In Pitcher, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Quapaw Nation got the contract from the Environmental Protection Agency to deal with the Tar Creek Superfund site. They are moving chat intending to bring the land to a better state of existence.
Now, according to the Quapaw Nation, since 2013, more than 7 million tons of waste was moved at the Tar Creek Superfund site. I remember my first time in news, it was many years ago, covering Pitcher, covering the meetings that led up to it being dissolved, covering their last graduation. It's truly a sad story because at one point, Pitcher was a bustling mining community, and it just, unfortunately, things did not work out so well down there. So, but it is still a neat place to see. It's very interesting to see. In terms of our weather, also interesting to see because we're 20 degrees colder now than what we were 24 hours ago. We've been treated to a very beautiful sunrise across the area, and we've still got the gusty winds to contend with. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. You can see clouds continuing to creep in across the area. It's starting to get a little cloudier from MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin as well. Quick look outside. Again, take a look. Usually we get a little more sunlight out here, and we're not getting as much as the clouds continue to thicken. 48 in Joplin, 46 over in Pittsburgh. We get our day started. We're going to have the gusty winds. We already do, and those will continue right until about the afternoon. Then it'll still be a bit breezy, but the winds won't be gusting to 30 miles an hour like they've been doing the last few days for us across the area. We're going to be mostly cloudy, and we do have the chance of an isolated shower or two out there. Our highs today about average, a little below as we go into the upper 50s. Most of us will remain dry, and as we head into the evening, there's a slightly better chance of a few more showers along and south of I-44, but again, not much out of this system. These fall-like temperatures, though, don't stick around for very long. We got more changes in that forecast, and we'll look at the complete forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, a federal court sentences a Neosho, Missouri man for his role in a kidnapping. A judge gives Lawrence William Vaughn 25 years in a federal prison without parole for a kidnapping conspiracy that resulted in the torture and death of the victim, and in a separate and unrelated case for illegally possessing stolen firearms. Vaughn pleaded guilty in April for his role in a conspiracy to commit kidnapping. In July of 2020, Vaughn and another co-defendant were offered $5,000 to kidnap the victim, known as MH. During his abduction, the victim was bound and beaten and fatally shot. A total of 5 co-defendants have also pleaded guilty in this kidnapping and await sentencing in this case. A pair of local service members surprised their kids at school after nearly a year in Africa. The fathers, Joshua Watson and Colton Owens, are part of the Missouri National Guard's 294th Engineer Company. Yesterday, the company finally returned home after 10 months. Watson and Owens then made their way to McKinley Elementary in Joplin, where they dressed up as mascots to surprise their kids before being swallowed in hugs.
I want you in. Hey! I miss you, bro. It's very emotional, very, very emotional. Just very anxious and ready. It was hard to keep the mask on and not just show them I'm right here.
I tried not to let my knees buckle. I saw him, and my heart started racing. And I was like trying so hard not to go up and grab him, give him a hug, but yeah, definitely like surprised me, like how I would feel about it.
The Guard members hadn't been home since January 5th. And Special Olympics athletes in Pittsburgh yesterday hit the bowling lanes. Special Olympics Kansas hosted the Southeast Regional Youth Bowling event at the Holiday Lanes Bowling Alley. It was a chance for the athletes to have some fun while hanging out with friends.
Bowling is a choice favorite. We have a lot of sports that go on, but it feels like they just have such a good time with bowling. I personally love bowling, but they get that opportunity. It's really good for any fitness level as well.
Next week, Special Olympics Kansas will host a Leadership Training Youth Summit at the Red Iron Activity Center in Columbus. Coming up, more Americans have died prematurely from smoking cigarettes than having died in all the wars fought by the United States. We will hear from Jackie Ebenezer about the American Cancer Society's Great Smokeout event. And later, wildfires are scorching parts of the Carolinas right now. More on that coming up. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, strep throat is on the rise in the U.S. as antibiotics continue to face a shortage. Data shows strep cases started increasing in August, largely in children between the ages of 4 and 12. The most common antibiotic to treat the infection is amoxicillin. According to the Food and Drug Administration, its powder form has been in shortage since October 2022. Capsule and tablet forms aren't on the shortage list, but experts say they are not suitable for some children. While anyone can get strep throat, it's most common among kids ages 5 to 15. Symptoms include fever, sore throat, and pain when swallowing. The FDA has approved a new drug to help fight obesity. The injection drug called Zepbound contains the same ingredients as the diabetes drug Mounjaro, which has been used off-label to lose weight since it was approved in May of last year. It's from drug maker Eli Lilly, and it's for weight management in adults with obesity who also have a weight-related health condition like diabetes or high blood pressure. The drug maker says adults who took Zepbound at its highest dose lost an average of 48 pounds in clinical trials. Zepbound targets 2 hormone receptors to tackle the underlying cause of excess weight. It's the latest powerful weight loss drug to hit the market. And did you know that more than 10 times as many Americans have died prematurely from smoking cigarettes than have died in all the wars fought by the United States? That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which says smoking harms pretty much every organ in our bodies. But with the American Cancer Society's Great Smoke Out event just around the corner, medical experts are sharing the health and financial benefits smokers can gain if they ditch cigarettes. Fox News correspondent Jackie Abinez takes a closer look.
Cigarette smoking is a leading cause of preventable death according to the CDC, resulting in more than 480,000 deaths in the U.S. every year. And while the latest CDC data reveals cigarette smoking hit historic lows last year, with 1 in 9 adults, about 11% reporting they were current smokers. Medical experts say it's not too late for those who have yet to quit to save their lungs.
Someone who quits smoking within 15 years reduces their risk of lung cancer by 50% or more compared to someone who kept on smoking.
Smokers can also start reaping a number of other health benefits soon after they abandon the vice.
Within 1 to 9 months of quitting smoking, people see increased improvement in their lung functions, and that translates to your stamina, translates to just the use of your respiratory system. Within 1 year of quitting smoking, you reduce your risk of coronary artery disease.
The reduced risks mean former smokers may have fewer doctor visits because of their improving health, resulting in less money being spent on medical care, especially when smokers pay higher insurance premiums. But that's not all.
If on the average you spend about $7 a day to buy cigarettes and you quit smoking, in a year you're going to save maybe almost $3,000. That's huge.
Quitting can be hard, but besides free online services and guides, there's medication and behavioral therapy options as well. November 16th marks the Great American Smokeout, an annual event by the American Cancer Society, encouraging people to seek support to help them quit. I'm Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
And now let's take it over to Chris Warner with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty decent looking day out there, but it is a little chillier to the tune of, say, about 20 degrees or so. We are going to see some fall-like temperatures for the next few days, and then they will change again. We'll take another full look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, we've got area cities that are gearing up for the Christmas season. We'll see how Neosho is prepping for their town display. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17, and it's about to be 7:18. There we go. On this Thursday morning, live look from our camera on the top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. The beautiful sunrise starting to transition to more darker skies as clouds continue to build into the area. Looking at cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. And we're looking at cloudy skies from the KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh. And you can see those clouds continuing to roll into the area from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. 48 in Joplin. North-northeast breeze at 14. Still got those gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour. And that makes it feel like 42 degrees right now. Temperatures around the area, they're actually still technically above average for this time of year, but they are chillier. 44 in Iola, 45 Yates Center, 46 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Chanute, and Neodesha. 50 in Chetopa, 52 Miami, 48 Carthage, and 46 Nevada, Lamar, and Monette. That is putting us roughly 20 degrees colder now than where we were at this same time 24 hours ago. So a big temperature change thanks to that cold front last night. Breezy conditions will continue for a bit, and then the wind gusts will let up. Now, it's still going to be a little bit on the breezy side this afternoon, but we're not talking gusts up to 30 miles an hour. We're going to go into the mid-50s by late morning with those mostly cloudy skies. And as we head into the afternoon, some isolated showers are possible. Most of us, unfortunately, remain dry, but a stray shower or two possible. And our highs just about where they should be into the upper 50s. A few showers again possible through the evening, mostly cloudy, slightly better chances of showers along and south of I-44. Then we'll start to clear out overnight, go partly cloudy, right to 40. Average temperatures tomorrow and Saturday as well, so Veterans Day looking great at 60. Then we start to warm up next week. We got to start going upper 60s, then we even go low to mid 70s as we head toward the end of next week. So that's what we're talking about. These fall-like temperatures will not last for long. Well, it's fire season in the South, and already dozens of fires are burning. Forecasters say it's due in part to drought conditions and gusty winds. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more.
November marks the peak of wildfire season, and it's already off to a strong start across the South. Virginia remains under a state of emergency as 2 large fires scorch parts of the state. The National Park Service says the Quaker Run fire burned about 2,800 acres of private, state, and federal land. As of Tuesday, the flames broke containment lines and spread into Shenandoah National Park, prompting Virginia's National Guard to send Black Hawk helicopters to douse the flames. While in North Carolina, fire officials say the Poplar Drive fire in Henderson County has scorched more than 400 acres since sparking Saturday.
Season is fall, and we have a lot of deciduous forest here, primarily a lot of deciduous on this particular fire.
But crews there say falling leaves are hindering containment efforts.
We have leaf drop continuing, and so what that entails is new fuel to burn daily until all those leaves are down. What that does to the ground, as you ask, is it gets in our fire lines. So we have to clean those out and monitor those.
Fire officials blame drought conditions and gusty winds for the overactive fire season. Forecasters say parts of the South are also experiencing warmer than normal temperatures for this time of year. The Copernicus Climate Change Service releasing its monthly findings on Tuesday, saying 2023 is virtually certain to be the world's warmest on record. The National Weather Service says the South could get a break later this week with rain in the forecast. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Of course, we're continuing to deal with our own drought conditions here in the 4 states. They've been steadily improving, but we still have a long way to go. Well, coming up, we're going to cover our top stories at the halfway mark as we're almost 30 minutes into the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The Ronald McDonald Annual Gift of Light, Gift of Love tree lighting event is about to start, and Amanda Mitchell from the Ronald McDonald House is here to share more about this great event. Welcome, Amanda. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so what is this tree lighting event you guys are doing?
This is our annual tree lighting event, and it's our biggest fundraiser for our charity. We are having a big event this Saturday, November 11th, and we're having an open house from 4 to 7, so people can come inside the Ronald McDonald House and see what we do. And then enjoy a lot of activities and games for children and special drinks for adults and musical performances by local performers. And then at 5:30, we will go outside to see the lighting of the house, the tree, the grounds, and have a big moment with that, along with some additional musical performances. So we want the whole community and the neighboring communities to come out and witness the electrical spectacle of lights that we'll have.
How fun. I love that. Definitely getting into the holiday spirit and for a good cause. And so how can people help donate for the cause?
Yeah, well, our goal is to keep families close to their children while they're in the hospital. And so we have a home and also a family room at Mercy Hospital where people can stay and get rest, eat a meal, and just feel taken care of. And so this is part of our annual fundraiser, and people can go to our website, rmhjoplin.org, to donate, or they can just mail a check to the house, or contact us to find all the ways. And so we just encourage people to give during this giving season and help keep families close.
I love that. Okay, and so anyone can show up, right? You don't need to RSVP, you just got to show up for the event?
It's a free event. Just come out. Great. Open house is 4 to 7. The lighting occurs at 5:30. Be prepared to be entertained and wowed and just have a good time.
Oh, wonderful. Will we hear any testimonies or hear from any of the people that benefit from your great
Yes, we have a featured family, the Gleason family, who will be there to share their story, and it's a really great story. You can also see their story on our website.
I love that. And what does it mean, especially you have the holidays coming up, for the Ronald McDonald to give back? Like, why do you think right now is so important?
I think it's just, it's easy for us to have just accumulate a lot of stuff. And so at Christmas time, and so what wonderful way would it be to just be able to give the gift of love and just maybe make a donation on somebody's behalf as a gift this year and help keep those families together whenever they are in their darkest hours, when their child is in the hospital. You can help bring a light to their lives.
Absolutely, I love that. And one more time for our viewers at home, tell us all the details of this great event.
Yes, our big holiday lighting extravaganza this Saturday, open house 4 to 7 at Ronald McDonald House in Joplin at 34th and Jackson. The lighting is at 5:30, and we give special thanks to our presenting sponsors, Liberty Utilities, and also our founding and forever mission partner, McDonald's.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. I look forward to the event this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, well, stick around because we got more news coming up after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. To help feed the hungry in Carthage, Lowe's called in the Army, the Salvation Army that is. The organization and the home improvement chain joined forces as part of Lowe's Hometowns Community Impact Program. The event supported the Feeding the Hungry Carthage project, one of 100 community projects in 2023 that make up Lowe's hometowns. For members of the Salvation Army, the event was not just a chance to give back to the community, but to share a common cause with like-minded volunteers.
It's refreshing. It really is to have others come alongside us. We have a great team of staff. We have a great volunteer base, and to have a company like Lowe's come along and pitch in and make this happen has been exciting.
The event benefited the Carthage Salvation Army Service Center. And Missouri Southern yesterday hosted an event to help young people with disabilities become more independent. The Joplin Tools for Life Transition Summit was put on by a group called Impact. It aimed to teach participants the leadership skills and self-determination. It also links people up with resources for things like jobs and housing.
Definitely some self-determination and leadership skills, maybe making some new friends, and absolutely some connections to some of the providers and service individuals out in the community.
The summit was available to people between the ages of 14 and 26 with a disability. The Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas celebrated all the money it gave to other organizations this year. The foundation hosted its annual grant celebration at the Frisco Event Center in Pittsburgh yesterday. In total, they handed out more than $1.5 million in grants to local nonprofits.
Lots of wonderful people in this room today, both from a donor perspective and obviously from the people that are receiving the awards, doing a lot of good things in the community. So as a part of the application process, they're letting us know what their plans are for the funds and what their needs are, and then they always report back to us as to how things went. So a lot of good things going on, and obviously it's just another way for us to network throughout the entire region.
The foundation also handed out more than $330,000 in competitive grants. And whether you like it or not, Christmas decorations are coming out. The city of Neosho is already in full gear preparing their lights for the upcoming season. Crews have already looked over their displays to make sure that every bulb is working, and now they are out putting them up. The displays have been growing, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
For the last 5 years, the Christmas lighting displays here in the community of the city of Neosho has just grown. And you see how people want to be involved, and we've had people, donate, and just the city itself wants to be involved in putting in more Christmas lights for the city of Neosho.
You will find the bigger displays in Big Spring Park. There will also be new lights on McCord Street and Neosho Boulevard. There will be a lighting ceremony that will be open to the public at the end of November at Big Spring Park.
We've got a much cooler start out there for us this morning. We're about 20 degrees colder now than we were 24 hours ago thanks to that cold front last night. Here's a live look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We're starting to see a few showers. There are a few more scattered out here, which is why we've been saying that better chances for showers are going to be along and south of I-44, but we could still see a few scattered to the north of that, but they're going to be very isolated. The one thing everybody's getting in on, though, is the cloud cover. We got the clouds building in from MoDOT camera 20th and range line in in Joplin. As we go through today, we're going to see the cloudy skies. The winds, believe it or not, are actually going to calm down a bit. They'll still be breezy, but not gusting upwards of 30. And we're looking at highs right about average as we go into the upper 50s. Fall-like temperatures don't stick around, though. There's some changes on the way. We'll talk about that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. The U.S. carried out an airstrike on a weapons storage facility in eastern Syria Wednesday. According to an announcement from the Pentagon, the storage facility was linked to Iranian-backed groups. 2 other facilities used by Iranian-backed groups were hit in late October. The airstrikes follow a month of nearly daily attacks by Iranian proxies on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. U.S. officials said Wednesday's attack did not result in casualties or any damage to infrastructure. An increase in attacks on U.S. forces in the Middle East has been expected in the wake of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, we see how El Nino is causing a blueberry shortage and how that could affect you.
And the clouds continue to increase ahead of some other changes in our forecast. We'll look at that full forecast when we come back.
Now open at 20th and Main in Joplin.
Welcome back. Celebrating Native American culture is the purpose of the RAIN organization. And Bobby Poole joins us in studio today to share with us an upcoming event in Miami, Oklahoma.
Oh, yes.
Welcome.
This is really great. It's Miami, the first time this year that we're going to be able to host the Native American cultural celebration at the Coleman Theater. This is the 6th year of the program, but last year we went to a big Native American history museum and we invited them to come to Miami. And they chose to come to Miami, and they're going to make Miami their headquarters for this big event. It's a 2-day event. It has all kinds of food trucks and shawl making classes. We need you to go online to wearerain.org, and it's all free. We've got great sponsors with Downstream, High Winds, all the Riverbend casinos. We got some really good sponsors to make it free for everybody. What you need to do is come to the Coleman Theater, go to the ballroom, go upstairs and register. You'll get an armband, and you'll be able to enter any event for the next 2 days. We have a really nice opening ceremony on Friday at 1 o'clock, and it's going to have all the native tribes are going to be there. We're going to have, it's just going to be a really neat organization. And we have things go on too when you're there. In the main theater, there's things going every day, but the upstairs in the ballroom, we've got that broke down into different classes, and there's a really good thing about film and Native Americans and film. There's just so much, it's kind of hard to explain in a short amount of time.
I love that. And you said it's going to be streamed, like 150,000 people?
Yes, we have Brad O'Hara Productions out of Tulsa is coming to the Coleman Theater, and they've already estimated from at least 150,000, 300,000 people will stream this from Miami. And this is going to be the first year of this, and we're going to keep it here every year. So we really want a big turnout. It's all free. It's for everyone. It's not just for Native Americans. We just want you to see the culture that they are involved in and how we can just all be part of it. So it's really nice.
I love that. And it's very exciting that it's in Miami for the first year. And why do you guys do this every year?
Well, this is, it started a few years ago. This year we're celebrating Vine Deloria. He is a Native American hero. He kind of started the movement in the Native American movement back in the 70s. And he's just a cultural icon. And so we're going to celebrate him this year. But this whole thing is about celebrating Native American culture.
I love that. This sounds so special. So be sure to check this out in downtown Miami at the Coleman Theater, November 10th and 11th, 2 days. It's the Native American Cultural Celebration.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate it. And stick around because we have more news coming up right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 742, almost 743 on this Thursday morning. Excuse me. We are watching the clouds increase across the area, and they will continue to do so. We're at 48 in Joplin, feeling like 42 though. North-northeast breeze at 14. Still seeing the occasional gust of 25 to 30 miles an hour. Temperatures this morning, most of us are slightly above average, but Iola, for example, much closer to average at 43. 45 Yates Center, 46 Neodesha, Chanute, Fort Scott, and Parsons. 50 50 in Miami, 48 in Neosho and Carthage. And our temperatures this morning, while they're much more seasonable, are about 20 degrees colder now than where we were at this time yesterday morning. So a pretty big change thanks to that cold front last night. Gusty winds will continue through the morning, but by the afternoon, they're going to start to let up a bit. They'll still be breezy, but they won't be gusting around 25, 30 miles an hour anymore. Mostly cloudy skies, mid-50s by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, some isolated showers will be possible, mainly along and south of I-44, but a few outside of that are possible. Unfortunately, though, most of us looking to remain dry, but don't be surprised if you get a couple of raindrops on your windshield. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and seasonable. Temperatures upper 50s. A few more isolated showers to the evening. Again, better chances along and south of I-44, but they're only slightly better. Once those clear out, we're going to start to clear out overnight as well, going partly cloudy. Temperatures chilly for sure, but again, right about where they're supposed to be, sitting around 40 degrees. Pretty seasonable tomorrow and Saturday as well. Partly cloudy skies, so Veterans Day looking great out there. As we head into the first half of next week, we start to go a little above average again, back into the upper 60s. And as we head to the second half of next week, we go well above average once again, back into the lower 70s across the area. And of course, the overnight lows will follow as they go through the 40s and eventually into the low 50s. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now, here's Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, some automakers are adding discounts to their electric vehicles to drive up sales. The Wall Street Journal reports companies such as Hyundai and Ford are offering customers rebates of up to $7,500 on some of their EV models. The report says other companies are turning to cheaper monthly payments, shorter contracts, or lower interest rates to make EVs more affordable. Tesla has announced price cuts for its vehicles, with some model prices being reduced by nearly a third. Car executives say discounts are needed to attract customers who are not as willing to spend more on EVs. Automakers also face federal limits on what EVs can receive the $7,500 tax credit. Some companies try to balance out missing the credit by offering sales incentives on the same amount. And airlines are adding more trips to their schedules as demand increases for the winter travel season. United Airlines announces its flights to Florida airports will increase by roughly 20% compared to its schedule last winter. The airline also says it will nearly double its seat availability on flights from some of its hub airports. American Airlines says it will also increase capacity for Florida flights, with 500 departures to the state from across the country during peak days in December. The airline is planning more flights to international destinations as well, with more than 350 peak day departures to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Latin America. Delta Airlines is also adding more seats for Latin America and Caribbean flights. And buying blueberries could cost you more at the supermarket. A report says U.S. grocery stores are facing a blueberry shortage. Peru, which is the world's top exporter of blueberries, is dealing with El Niño weather phenomenon, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The extreme heat and dry weather conditions in the country is creating smaller blueberry harvests this year. The report says that the weather conditions have cut supplies to the fruit by as much as 70%, while prices have risen to almost 6% a pound. Plus, there is some relief coming as North America's growing season kicks off in the spring. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Suspects caught on camera using a large construction vehicle to claw their way to an indoor ATM.
This definitely puts the smash in smash and grab. Jeremy Roth has that and more in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a crew of brazen robbers attempt to steal an ATM using a massive backhoe to barge in on a California convenience store. Surveillance shows an employee's reaction as the vehicle bashes through the bulletproof glass and then begins tearing at the cash machine. The suspects then try to use a chain to haul the ATM into their getaway truck, but their attempt backfires, and instead they hop in the pickup and take off, leaving behind the backhoe, the gnarled cash machine, and a ton of damage to the store. From a smash and grab job to one that was mostly smash, as a large deer was caught on camera crashing through the entrance of a Michigan lingerie store and causing quite a ruckus. The owner says she and her employees had no choice but to stand back and just watch the chaos.
Just stayed out of the way. This was a big buck. It was not a small doe by any means.
For real, though. And this big buck left big bucks in damage before skittering out the exit. The owner said the wild incident came at a bad time for the store, but they're making the best of it with some creative marketing ideas. Finally, file this one under You Snooze, You Lose, as security footage shows a Florida family's food delivery left on their doorstep only to be casually commandeered by a hungry bear, which showed up and turned the delivery to carry out, leaving the family hungry and confused.
El oso se llevó la comida.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
I mean, if you go out there and that bear's there, I'm not going to tell him
No,
no.
right? What a sneaky little bear. He timed it perfectly.
He really did. He just got up there and just carried that away.
He did.
Mine. Yeah, and he just walks off. He's like, no big deal to him. I guess it's not his first fast food delivery he's had. Maybe he ordered it for himself, and that's just the closest home he had to have it delivered to.
Funny.
That was wild. Something else that's wild is it's 20 degrees colder outside than it was yesterday.
Insane.
You may have noticed this. Maybe you didn't. It's difficult to say for sure. Here we go. Who's noticed what and who hasn't? Let's take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. So off to our south, you can see some showers and even a few thunderstorms developing south of I-44 into eastern Oklahoma. Some of these could make it up into our areas, so we do have the slight shower chances, better chances along and south of I-44 out there. Cloudy skies from MoDOT camera 20th and range line, and we're going to hang on to cloudy skies and some isolated shower chances today. Our highs right about where they should be, but considerably cooler into the upper 50s. We're having another look at your forecast, including the weekend forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
We're proud to salute Billy Charles III, a four-state hero.
There's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A federal court sentences a Neosho, Missouri man for his role in kidnapping. A judge gives Lawrence William Vaughn 25 years in a federal prison without parole for a kidnapping conspiracy that resulted in the torture and death of the victim, and in a separate and unrelated case for illegally possessing stolen firearms. Vaughn pleaded guilty in April for his role in a conspiracy to commit kidnapping. In July 2020, Vaughn and another co-defendant were offered $5,000 to kidnap the victim known as MH. During his abduction, the victim was bound and beaten and fatally shot. A total of 5 co-defendants have also pleaded guilty in the kidnapping and await sentencing in the case. A pair of local service members surprised their kids at school after nearly a year in Africa. The fathers, Joshua Watson and Colton Owens, are part of the Missouri National Guard's 294th Engineer Company. Yesterday, the company finally returned home after 10 months. Watson and Owens then made their way to McKinley Elementary in Joplin, where they dressed up as mascots to surprise their kids before being swallowed in hugs. And 10 years after the municipality of Pitcher was officially dissolved, former residents still cherish the memories of the small Oklahoma town. Most town structures that weren't demolished, collapsed, or destroyed by a fire or tornado are abandoned. According to the people we spoke to, 5 families still live in the area, while for many, Pitcher is now a ghost town. For locals, it's their forever hometown.
We're cooler today, but right about average, upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies. The winds will calm down a bit this afternoon, still on the breezy side, but calmer. And we could see some isolated showers out there. The better chances, only slightly better chances, along and south of I-44. Some scattered to isolated showers possible through the evening, otherwise mostly cloudy. And our overnight lows right about average, back down to 40, and we'll start clearing out overnight as well with partly cloudy skies. Looking great tomorrow, upper 50s, great Veterans Day as well as we hit 60 with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures begin to warm up next week, the first half into the upper 60s, so just a bit above normal, and by the second half, well above normal, back into the low to mid 70s.
An ice cream shop in Texas is adding a special twist to its workforce, giving a spot to work to those with mental disabilities.
Tom Landis is the founder of Howdy Homemade Ice Cream and credits God for his passion to help others. His first thought about opening a donut shop, but the simplicity of ice cream preparation made him settle on that idea. He noticed how important customer service was.
He says people with mental disabilities tend to work well with repetition and checklists, which helps a lot when doing customer service work. Landis says his workers are full of grace and patience, which makes a drastic difference in customer service.
Certainly an impressive ice cream shop, and he's doing some great work there and
Yes.
giving those folks something to do and something great to do as well, because who doesn't love ice cream?
Who doesn't love ice cream, Chris?
Except in the wintertime. Then I'm not such a big fan. It's
Now-
already cold enough.
Yeah, right. It's more hot cocoa season.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We had so much fun doing this. Caitlin, I tell you what, why don't we come back here today at noon and do it all over again?
You know what? I'll one-up you and say, why don't we come back here tomorrow morning and do it all over again?
I think we should do that as
Yeah?
well. I tell you what, we'll do all of those things.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.